Are you ready?
Oh, yeah!
Strap yourselves in for the Gaming Hub. With your hosts, Tyler.
You can't handle the truth!
Graham.
The force is strong in this way.
And Steven.
You cannot be serious!
Let's get started.
Alrighty then.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Gaming Hub. This is episode 144. I'm your host Tyler, saying thank you so much for joining us. And I am joined by our two co-hosts, as always. Let's start with Graham. Graham, how are you? How's your week been?
I'm doing well. My week has been kind of cold, kind of snowy, kind of getting stuck in snow. Some people might not know this pain, but I did. Other than that, gave me some good reasons to stay and play some games. And to stay warm, I played some Overcooked, I forget what the edition is called right now, DLC though, but when it's like Sand and Sun and like all that fun stuff. And, keep warm with a nice hot beverage, keep myself warm throughout these cold winter days. How are you guys doing?
I'm great. We'll get to me in a second, but let's go to Steven next. How are you?
I'm doing for a couple reasons. First of all, I got sick over the weekend. Like Friday, you feel something was off, or I felt like something was off. And Saturday I woke up and again felt like something was off again. And I did manage to crank out not the last, but the third beef jerky video for you guys. That's up now on YouTube. But I cranked that out. But after that, it didn't feel very good. And then Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and still, I think it came down with some bronchitis. So I've been coughing my lungs up and, trying not to die that way. So I really haven't been doing much except sitting and binge watching Netflix because I haven't felt like doing anything. But I did finish Hitman 2 in that span. I haven't really played a lot of games other than that. Because I watched football on Sunday, it was okay. One was better than the other. Let's leave it at that. But I played and finished Hitman 2, the campaign for at least Hitman 2. I know there's a lot of extra stuff you can do. I haven't really gotten around to doing it, but I'm excited to play some more of that. But everything's getting put on hold for the next, month, starting next Tuesday, for, again, reasons that will be made clear in the near future. You might be guessing. But yeah, I really haven't been playing many games. I hope I don't sound too terrible right now for you guys. I'm on the back end of this, so I'm hoping it's gone soon. But, you never know. But that's been my week. It hasn't been great, but it hasn't been terrible, I guess. So, Tyler, how about you?
Oh, pretty good. Like I said last week, kind of getting ready to move, so working on that. I'm actually moving a week from tomorrow. So, looking forward to just getting that done. It's I'm excited to move, but moving is my least favorite thing in the entire world to do.
I know that pain all too well, Tyler.
Yeah, I absolutely hate every single part of it, but looking forward to it being done, and got a cool place picked out, so all that'll be good. And like I said last week, it's gonna be awesome for the setup for doing the show. Much better layout there, and I'll actually have a space completely dedicated to doing the show, streaming, stuff like that. So that's going to be awesome. Really looking forward to that. Other than that, today has been a pretty fun day for me. Sometimes things just come along that bring joy to you, and we'll get to that in a little bit.
What could that be?
I don't know, but we'll talk about it in a little bit, somewhere around the middle of news. But, yeah, that's been my week. So, Steven, what do you have for us?
We are the official podcast of the Xbox Hub. Head on over to the xboxhub.com for all the latest and greatest in news, reviews, opinion pieces, all that jazz in the world of Xbox. And you can check their sister site out, the Switch Hub, as well for Switch news. We'd love to have you come join our community. We have a lot of great conversation in all our different areas. The easiest way to do that is head on over to Twitch at TXH Gaming Hub. Some of you are here right now, and we appreciate yous. Head on over there, and from there you can get links to Facebook, Discord, Twitter, Instagram, email, YouTube, all that fun stuff. If you want to check out Facebook, we're the Gaming Hub forums. You can also get links to Discord from there, and you could, tweet us or tweet at us. on Twitter, and then or send us an email if you really don't like Facebook, Twitter, or whatever. You can also check our YouTube out at the Gaming Hub Podcast. And for there you can watch all our episodes if you missed any, and you don't want to download them on the podcast app and you want to watch on YouTube for whatever reason because you like YouTube the best. You can also check out some of the other videos we've done, like I just said in the intros, that my beef jerky video up, spicy jerky. So check that out. It was the third one I did, but there's a chance for a fourth that I mentioned in video number 3. So if you guys want to see the fourth, you gotta kind of follow what I said as was. But by the way, so Twitter, I mentioned that I didn't really give our handle. So Twitter is TXH Gaming Hub. There you can tweet at us, watch all our tweets and retweets. And I know Twitter can be hit or miss with some of you, but if you like it, there you can find us there.
All right. So if you'd like to support the show, we'd really appreciate that. And there's a couple different ways to do it. So first of all, Twitch, like Steven talked about, TXH Gaming Hub on Twitch. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you get a free Twitch Prime sub to use every single month. And if you choose to spend that on us, again, we really appreciate that. It helps us make the show better, do more things with it, and maybe go to some gaming shows, stuff like that, which we definitely want to do here in 2019. Also, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/gaminghub. And for as little as $2 a month there, you get exclusive content, extra episodes, mailbag episodes, early access to videos like Steven punishing himself with, super hot beef jerky. And what's the next one you have? How many, Scoville?
So I got some hot sauce recommended from one of the members in our community, Piracy, or the Fat Chinese Lady, if you know him from Twitch. The hot sauce, 500,000 Scoville units, so I'll be putting that on something and popping that in the hatch and trying not to cry my little tears, and that'll be fun.
And how many Scoville units was the last thing you did?
So I don't actually know how much the jerky was. It doesn't say anywhere. It was pretty hot. I mean, I've eaten like atomic wings from Wingstop. Okay. I know those. I think those. Again, it's kind of hard because their recipe's secret. But I've seen things. It's like 100,000. I haven't done the blazing wings from B-Dubs.
Well, I looked up, and my favorite wings to get at Buffalo Wild Wings are the hot barbecue, which is probably about 3/4 of the way up the scale. And those are about 50,000.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, I know.
Because I've done the Louisiana, like the Cajun one or whatever, and those were good. I don't know what that. I think that's above hot barbecue. I think it's the third hottest for.
But as you know, like the scale tends to go up exponentially.
Yes.
Like when you get to the end, each one is a pretty significant step up. So anyway, back to Patreon. For as little as $5 a month, everyone, you can be entered to win our monthly giveaway just for patrons that we're actually doing at the end of this episode for January. And you get 1 entry for the $5 level and 5 entries for the $25 level, and then it varies in between. So we'll do that giveaway at the end of the show. And I really want to shout out to our 2 patrons this week, Alex H. Thank you so much for joining up. Really appreciate it. And Grant P. Joined up at the $25 level this week. That is amazing. Thank you so much. Appreciate that more than you know. And also, I want to point out we've had some people on Twitch tonight saying, hey, we want to see video of the show, live video. That is a stated goal on Patreon for 50 patrons. So if you haven't signed up yet and want to see that, make sure to head over there. And for as little as $2 a month, you're helping us get there, because we do have some things in mind equipment-wise and set-wise that we want to do, and just need to be able to make that happen. So, all right, Graham.
Yes. So I'm going to list off every medium that you guys can listen to our pod. No. Come on now. We'll be here all night. But there are many ways in which you can listen to our podcast. And if you're not happy with the current one you're using, well, I'm going to give you a couple more options. You can listen using the Radio Public app. Now, this app can be obtained free on your app store, and it gives us a little bit for each time we get a listen. Not a lot, but it all adds up, and it's all right. I appreciate it. And then another way you can listen to our podcast is using an app called Dash Radio. You just download the app and look for us on their multiplayer channel. This is like a streaming service, but it's free. And like I said, you go under multiplayer's channel, and you'll find other gaming podcasts along with ours streaming. It's just on a rotating schedule. So you keep listening, and eventually you'll hear us, and you're like, yay, my day just got better. And if you guys like what you hear, and I'm sure you will, and just give us a little comment and give us a 5-star rating on whatever platform you choose. It helps. Like other people will listen and they'll be like, "Well, 5-star," and they'll read like, "These guys are good." So you encourage other people and make the community bigger. And we appreciate every review you guys give us. And bring on the 5 stars. Thanks.
All right, yeah, and like we said, if you leave a review for us, good chance we ran the show. So we have one this week. GP Pfeiffer, I think, or Pfeiffer. Great podcast. I've been listening for a couple of months now and just became a Hall of Famer for their Patreon. So we just mentioned that. Thank you again for that. Great guys. Look forward to their podcast every week. So, hey, thanks for both the support on Patreon and leaving that review. It does a lot to help us, get new listeners and help the community grow. So, awesome. Thank you guys for everything you do to help support us. All right. There's some news this week, and let's get into that now.
In the news.
So, Graham, you were so excited for Fallout 76 once upon a time.
Whoa, that was a long time now.
It was a long time ago. I know.
Well,
And, kudos to Bethesda for doing everything right every step of the way.
Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Are we talking
not
about
quite.
the same Bethesda?
No, not quite.
Yes.
Now they're having to deny speculation that Fallout 76 might be going free to play sometime in the near to maybe distant future. So this is all stemming from some retail stores having retail copies of the game being kind of pulled off shelves, and then on Amazon having the stock of the physical copies be really, really low. And, people are kind of jumping to conclusion, and normally I would kind of say, well, that might mean something, it might mean nothing. Let's wait and see. But with Elder Scrolls Online, they also made that free to play after a certain period of time.
Yeah, I'm not sure how long.
Yeah, it was definitely longer than we're looking at right now, and I don't know that this is going to happen anytime soon if it's true at all.
Mm-hmm.
But, Graham, you bought the game. You pre-ordered the game.
Yes.
How happy or upset would you be if, let's say, even at E3 over the summer, they announced that this is going free to play?
Well, I wouldn't be as upset as a lot of people would be because I do it kind of like the sport and I bought the game and stuff like that. But it is getting frustrating how Bethesda keep doing these things to upset the fan base. And these fans, along with me, have been nothing but loyal, ask no questions, throw money at them, and think that they would do no wrong. But they've been doing a lot of wrong with Fallout 76. I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole of wrong that Bethesda's done. We all know what it is. We've talked about it on past episodes. But if this is another thing, like, they're just stepping on broken glass repeatedly. Like, they're like, well, I got another great idea. So I don't know what they're thinking, and I'm hoping that this is not true. And if it is, it's way down the road where the game's already had a lot of price drops. So soon it will be free. You drop it much more. So who knows? It might become free to play. But I don't know if this is going to bring on more people or you're just going to upset your fans and they're just going to give up. So I don't know. I think Bethesda wish they could have a do-over right now. And
yeah, I think so.
yeah, like, I don't know. This
Yeah,
is not
Steven,
a good step, in my opinion.
Steven, what do you think the odds are of this actually happening?
I think they're pretty good. I don't know if it'll be anytime soon, but I could see them at some point making this game free to play. Especially, like, if they fix... Here's what I see happening. So they fix the game, right? But it takes a long time. And so to get people back in, they make the game free to play, and then they charge for the expansion. Mm-hmm. So, like, they get... Or even before they make it free to play, just like making it games with gold and like PS Plus game for download, like right before the expansion comes out, like a month or two before. Mm-hmm. And then they make it free for that little bit of time, or they just charge really cheap, or you just get the game when if you buy the expansion, and maybe try to get people back in. I just don't think this game will go free to play, but I could be wrong. It's very rare when I'm wrong, but it's happened once or twice before.
I'm kind of with you here. I think that if they do it, they're going to fix everything that's perceived to be wrong with the game first.
Yes.
And kind of shore up...
So we're looking at a while then.
yeah, and kind of shore up whatever goodwill they can around it. Because if they say, hey, we're going to make it free to play, and then right after that, we're going to fix everything that everybody was mad about, that's disastrous for them. So I think they need to fix everything first, kind of get some kind of positive vibes around that game again, and then say, okay, now that we've done all this, we've done all these updates for free, now we're going to go free to play. It's going to be a better community, blah 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 blah, and see what happens there. But do you guys think they need to do anything for people that, you know, were loyal and went in on this early, you know, on launch day or within the first month or two?
Steven?
I mean, so I remember I was kind of like down on this game, right? And then like 2 weeks or like the month leading up to this game, I'm like, okay, I'm kind of getting like hyped a little bit, and the hype started coming, and I'm like, okay, it's Bethesda. How bad can they mess this up? Turns out very badly. But I bought it, and then remember when it went on sale, I tried to call and be like, hey, can I get a refund? And then I was just going to buy it again, but save $20 because I had only played like an hour of it. And I know on Steam you can refund up to 10 hours, and maybe that's bad of me, but maybe you shouldn't discount, or I don't say it wasn't a price drop. It was a sale. And they've had these sales before. I don't know if they actually have officially price drop now, but I mean, it kind of does hurt for the people that like bought it day one, but at this point, you kind of know what you're getting with these types of games, and maybe it's on us to be like, no, we're not buying this day one, and make sure the game, you know, doesn't suck. And then we'll buy it. But until the community as a whole does that, we're gonna keep getting hurt with these things where we buy these games for $60, they're garbage, and then I mean, relatively speaking, and then you know, all of a sudden, you know, people stop playing and the price goes down really quickly, and you're upset because you played full price. But heck, with most games now, you can, if you wait 2 months after the game comes out, they drop $20.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Assassin's Creed has done it in the last 2 years. Tomb Raider, like Shadow of War did it. Like a lot of games
haven't we
do
seen
that.
Battlefield 5 sales already too?
Yeah.
Stuff like that? Yeah.
So it's kind of like paying for the privilege to play it day one. And if you know you're not going to play it day one, and I knew I wasn't going to play a lot of it day one, especially with still playing Red Dead, or actually no, playing. Well, it was before Red Dead, wasn't it? It's been, gosh, it feels so long.
No, it was after Red Dead.
Okay, yeah, I was like, I still wanted to
2
play
weeks,
Red Dead, so I didn't want to play Fallout 76. So I shouldn't have bought it day one. That was my mistake, and I'm whatever. But I do see why people get mad at the company for dropping the price so quickly. It does feel like a betrayal, and going free to play will definitely feel like a knife in the back. And I think it'll make a lot of people mad enough to say they're not going to buy Bethesda games anymore, or at least not buy them quickly. And then, you know, as soon as Elder Scrolls 6 gets announced, it'll be bought day one. Because that, well, at least for me, like guaranteed, you know.
Well, and here's kind of the key thing too. Well, two things. One, I think the way they'll try to make it up to people is to give them in-game currency. You know, if you bought the game early, played it up to this date, you know, or anytime before this date, you get this much in-game currency for free, and that is not going to make people happy.
No,
because they never give enough. They give like $5 worth.
They give enough to get you to spend more.
Yeah.
So it's all very calculated, right? But here's the other thing. You know, we see it all the time, and we've talked about it on the show. Like, how many times are we going to be burnt pre-ordering games before we just stop pre-ordering games? And I'm guilty of it. I think you guys are too. I continue to pre-order games. I just pre-ordered Anthem like 2 days ago.
I have like 6 games pre-ordered on the Xbox store right now. Most of the time was done, you know, on the weekends at night. But
so we always say we're not going to do this anymore. We've been burned too many times, but then we continue to do it. And like, Graham, what would it take for you to not pre-order Elder Scrolls 6?
Not having any money. I'm not sure. Because if Skyrim is any indication, unless they're like, well, we're going to do online only, there's really no reason. Like, if this was Fallout 5, then there would be no issues. There probably would be no problems. But because they ventured something different, maybe we just had too much faith in them trying something new and nailing it right away. Because, like, Elder Scrolls 6, and there's no doubt in my mind that maybe it'll be a little bit buggy like Bethesda games, but it's not going to be anywhere to the extent of Fallout 76. So I'm pretty sure I'll pre-order it right away, unless I'm in a situation where I can't, which is very unlikely.
Yeah, and I'll probably as well. The reality is, these companies respond to money, not to YouTube videos or anything else. Like, they don't care.
Yep.
And I know that sounds harsh, but they don't. They respond. Like, if you vote with your wallet, that will speak to them.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen it with other franchises, not just video games, but movies, etc. I feel like until people say, I'm not going to, pre-order future games by you because you lost, that benefit of the doubt with me, then you can complain all you want, but you're not making them pay any price for it. At all. So what incentive do they have to not continue to do stuff like this, I guess? So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Let's from one, messed up, I don't want to say franchise, because Fallout's been a really good franchise.
Yeah, you can't judge the franchise from this game.
Yeah,
please don't.
So from one mess up to an epic disaster. Let's do that. We talked last week about, the relationship between EA and Disney with Star Wars, and, them having the license and really not doing anything with it other than a couple of disappointing and lackluster, Battlefront games. I almost said Battlefield because that's kind of what they are. But we learned this week that BioWare tried repeatedly to make a new Knights of the Old Republic game under EA, but hasn't been able to for whatever reason. And it might be internal politics. It might be, they want them to do other things like Anthem, for example. Stuff like that. But that they wanted to make another Knights of the Old Republic game and just have not been able to make it work. So, Steve, I want to go to you first on this because you talked a little bit about BioWare last week.
I did.
So, go ahead.
So, first of all, apologies. I'll make a correction. I said I'd want BioWare to be able to do Disney when they already had the ability, or sorry, not Disney, Star Wars from Disney. Even because I kind of had a brain fart and forgot that they were under the umbrella of EA. And this makes me upset. I love the Knights of the Old Republic games, and I absolutely love the Old Republic. I know a lot of people didn't like it as much, especially because it became a MMORPG for Graham, MMORPG.
Thank you for that.
Became an MMORPG, but I put a lot of hours into that game, and I quite enjoyed it. It did go free to play pretty quickly because I think that it was trying to compete with WoW, and nothing could compete with WoW because WoW had 3 expansions out, I think, by the time the Old Republic came out. So people were comparing vanilla the Old Republic to 3 expansions later WoW, which is an unfair comparison, but it happens. And I get it. So people just went back to playing World of Warcraft. So with the Old Republic, got better, though. Definitely got better. I played it right at the beginning, played it for a little while, and waited a few years, and then really got into it, right? And put 50, 60 hours, if not more. Okay, definitely more. Hundreds of hours into that game. Had a blast doing it. So I'd love BioWare to make a Knights of the Old Republic 3, and the fact that they want to really makes me mad at EA, because the reason they wanted Anthem was a game to compete with Destiny and Activision, though now Activision is not a part of Destiny anymore, which hopefully works for Destiny. But anyways, you almost wonder if that's the reason why, and there's this notion going around, right, that single-player games are dead, and it's kind of been, what's the word, debunked? Yeah. There we go. It's been debunked by the likes of Sony coming out with God of War, and then Red Dead Redemption 2 had an amazing
Spider-Man.
So yeah, Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, all these great games, and thanks Sony for keeping the single player dreams alive. Definitely appreciate you guys because I love single player games. Yes. And Persona 5 too, but EA just hates them. It seems like. If the game doesn't have multiplayer in some form or another, EA refused to make them. And I know they have their indie games. Unravel is single player or couch co-op at the most. And then there's a couple of their indie titles that are under the umbrella that are getting thrown out. But their big AAA games are absolutely focused on multiplayer. I mean, Battlefield got rid of their campaign basically. Not that most people play shooting campaigns anyways, but look at Battlefront. Battlefront 1 didn't have a campaign at all. Battlefront 2 had a very weak one. Let's be real. It was kind of
I mean still it was the best part of the game, but
that's the worst part. But yeah, it's if it does not have multiplayer attached to it, they won't release single player only games anymore. Like even Titanfall 2, which people say is one of the best like shooting campaigns in a long time. Like the multiplayer was definitely included with that game. So I mean, I'm a little upset with EA for not doing this. And I guess the Respawn Star Wars game, like the what is it, the Last Jedi, or not the Last Jedi, the
Jedi Fallen Order.
Yep. Yeah, Jedi Fallen Order. That I think is single player. Has it been clarified?
It is. It has a single player story for sure. I don't know if there's going to be an online component, and we'll learn that soon. So, I mean, we know that the game is set like a few years after Revenge of the Sith, and that it's, you know, based around a Jedi who was a Padawan when Order 66 happened in Episode 3. So, yeah. We know that. We don't know much else beyond that.
Like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong and EA has released a single-player only game recently. I just can't think of it.
Well, here's the thing, though, Steven. You and I are part of the reason that they don't make single-player games anymore. And Graham, to an extent, but he's not as bad as us. Okay?
Are you talking about Ultimate Team?
I am, because I'm talking about, ultimately, it comes down to money, right? And
sure,
if it's much easier to continue to get a revenue stream from a game long after release when you have a multiplayer component to it that encourages people to go spend more money, get more stuff later on. You know, and if you look at the EA Sports part of it, I think that's a huge reason why they continue to focus on the team-based games like FIFA and Madden and, you know, to a little bit lesser extent NHL, but they're pretty committed to that. You know, and less, like, they completely gave up their golf license. Their Tiger Woods golf games were some of the best games they had. But it's pretty hard to do an Ultimate Team component in Tiger Woods or Rory McIlroy, right? But It's super easy to do it in Madden or FIFA or NHL and continue to get that revenue stream. So they've been pulling in over $700 million in a year just from Ultimate Team. That's quite a bit of money. And single-player games aren't going to do that for them. Because when you look at DLC models, most players don't buy DLC. You know, a decent amount will buy the first one, but then by the last pack, it's really minimal. So, and that's why they push the, like, premium pass or season pass so hard. But, Graham, like, what do you think? Like, do you think there's another reason? I don't think it's an artistic, like, reason at all that they've kind of gone away from single player. I think it all has to do with money and revenue. What do you think?
Yeah, well, it makes sense what you're saying, because those types of games where people can buy things, and especially if it's a game where you're going to keep playing all the time, like sometimes you'll like fork out some more money for cosmetics that look different from another player and stuff like that. So like I said, if this is what's making them all the money, then why would they get away from it, right? Because it's a business. Their bottom line is they're out to make money and stuff like that. So if they're going to make more money by doing multiplayer games and like emphasizing multiplayer, then yeah, obviously they're going to do it. It's not a surprise. Yeah. And me personally, like I really do enjoy playing the single player games and stuff like that. So to me, I wouldn't be as hurt if they swayed away from the multiplayer, but obviously the money's there, so they're not going to. So it's just my voice saying, give me single player, and they're like, well, we're not going to do that.
Well, let me ask you this, Graham, because I think you're the better person to answer this question than Steven, and most definitely better than me. You are, I think you'd agree, an absolutely, like, casual Star Wars fan.
Yes.
Like,
for sure.
You've seen the movies. I've
seen the movies. Let's not talk about that.
Graham, for everyone out there, watched A New Hope and then Return of the Jedi, and was like sitting there watching it, wondering why like Han Solo's in carbonite now. You know?
Yeah, that's true too. I remember that. I'm like, what happened?
I know, and then goes and watches Empire Strikes Back. So like the whole huge reveal from Empire, and you probably knew it beforehand, but you know, that was kind of ruined for you, but. But you're a very casual fan. You're not going to read the books. You're not going to like read the comics. You're probably not going to go real deep into the other TV shows like Clone Wars and stuff like that.
It's pretty safe to say. You never know. Stranger things have happened.
Right. But what type of Star Wars game would you want to see that would get you really excited?
Like an open world adventure, go
Okay.
to other planets. That would appeal to me more.
Now, does it need to be like focused on Jedi's for you, or could it just be anything set in that world or
It
universe?
can pretty much be anything as long as there's a good story and good characters and stuff like that.
Okay.
Just a lot of content. That's what I would like. Like I'm kind of like thinking kind of like a Witcher 3, but like to like a Star Wars world or something like that, and just
Yeah.
go different planets and have some. I like the space battles too. Like some of that stuff is some most fun I've had in games.
Okay.
So, yeah, just an open world, open to explore, and something that's not so linear and allow you to explore. I think that's what I would really like. I don't know about you
Okay.
guys. What would you guys like?
Well, I mean, like, I can answer that question, and I'd go really in depth. Like, I'd like to see lots of different things, like, Force users and non-Force users, and see, bounty hunters, and the ability to go be almost anything. And this is where Steven will chime in and say, like, there's a game where you can do that.
Yeah, I was just about
And,
to say, if only there was a game with that
So-
exact.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, like, on console in 2019, right? And so I get that, yeah, there's PC games out there that let you do that, and they're amazing. But I think when you take on this license for 10 years and you're trying to, do it justice, I think you need to do more than just shooters. So I would love to see that. But the type of stuff I would bring up, like most fans out there that EA would count on to buy the game, especially for a single player focused game, would be like, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
So
You
you
know.
brought up like doing the game justice, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Or the franchise justice, yeah.
yeah, or the franchise. So I'm gonna ask the question, and I think we all kind of probably have the same answer. Did EA buy this like license to be able to do the Star Wars franchise justice, or they did it because they saw dollar signs?
No, dollar
Yeah,
signs.
dollar bills, that's exactly my thoughts. Like, and honestly, that's the reason EA was kind of viewed as one of the worst companies in America. I mean, shoot, over like Comcast and the like Infinity, right? Or what's the other name of them? Like, they're terrible companies.
Oh, Xfinity, yes.
Yeah, Xfinity. There we go. They're terrible companies, but EA somehow took the mantle, and it's because of stuff like this. Like, they really make people mad when they buy these licenses. They keep good companies that would make good games and do justice and still make a lot of money because they have to milk every single penny from their consumer base.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
that's why microtransactions go hand in hand with Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's a Star Wars game. Let's make as much money out of these people as we can.
And you look at it, and that's why there's so much excitement around games like God of War and around games like Red Dead,
Well,
because they don't do that.
yeah.
They just want to tell a really freaking awesome story.
except for the online with Red
Well,
Dead.
except the
which
online
started-
Red Dead, but I
Yeah.
mean, the core part of the game, the 65-hour campaign, isn't about that.
Yes,
whereas
and good
EA
on rocks. Well,
Whereas EA would have made the campaign like 12 hours, maybe.
12.
Yeah.
Like 3.
And then you do Red Dead Ultimate Team,
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know. I get that it's a business, right? And he is a publicly traded company, and they do have to answer to shareholders, and I understand all of that. But ultimately, what shareholders want is for the company to be financially successful, and for it to be that, they don't need to do fan service. I hate those words. I do. Because you can't, like with Star Wars movies, you can't go and just make the movie that fans want, because they get this idea in their head of what it's going to be, and then when it's not exactly for them, like specifically for them, then they have like a meltdown. You need to tell good stories, though, and you need to be committed to doing the universe justice, and the stories justice, and the characters justice, and if you do that, it'll be good. And I think that's kind of some of what people hate about Last Jedi, is they felt like they didn't do that. So, but we're getting off track with that. So, all right, anything else on the Star Wars guys? I would love to see a Knights of the Old Republic game.
Oh yeah, I would love to see
yes.
BioWare sink their teeth in this, but
Now
obviously
we know
they're-
there's no way this is going to
they're
happen,
occupied
right?
with
Because
Anthem. No,
they're all in on Anthem for the next decade.
And the worst part about this is, that, like, if Disney, all right, never mind. We'll get to this because we got a question about this later. So I'll kind of come back to BioWare in a second.
Okay.
Or in a few minutes.
All right, let's move on. So, Graham,
Yes.
There was something posted this week, and
Was there?
yeah, Tim Rogers, right?
Yes.
Yeah, over at Kotaku, posted something talking about how Kingdom Hearts 3 is like an unreviewable game, and Steve will get into that in a second about what all that means. But he's already been proven wrong because reviews are starting to come out.
Yeah,
and
apparently it has been reviewed.
There have been reviews. I learned this today, and it was a wonderful, wonderful thing. Because as you'd expect, Steven is handling this with the grace and balanced approach that any, super fanboy would. So, Steven, I want to go to you. Currently, Kingdom Hearts 3 is holding a Metacritic score of 89 for PlayStation. Not enough reviews in for Xbox yet to get a score. But, a lot of our listeners would say don't contain yourself, so go for it.
The floor is yours.
What are your thoughts on some of the feedback for Kingdom Hearts 3 so far?
I mean, this is very tough because, I don't want to, call any reviewers out because they did something that was, according to Tim Rogers, and I definitely agree with, almost impossible. This game, 12 and a lot of change, almost 13 years in the making in the U.S., 13 years in Japan. So we've been waiting a long time, in quote Sirius Black. I've done my waiting. 12 long years of it, as it were. So, my first instinct, even I watched Tim Rogers' video, said don't watch reviews for Kingdom Hearts. You're not going to like it. No critic is going to know as much about this game as you. You're not, they're going to treat it like a piece of meat, talking about the frame rates and all that, which happened in some of the reviews. So, kudos to all those reviewers because they know they're going to get a lot of flack from the dumb Kingdom Hearts fans. But again, part of me is also with those dumb Kingdom Hearts fans. It's like, this game didn't get 100. This is freaking bull stuff. I'm trying to watch my mouth. As Tyler can attest to, it was not very clean or simple and clean, as it were.
Okay,
hint for Kingdom Hearts fans.
So, Stephen, real quick, let me read these words to you, okay?
Okay, sorry about that cough.
From a review for Kingdom Hearts 3. Kingdom Hearts 3 is an example of what can go wrong when a series that once stood in contrast to its peers as a lighthearted alternative loses its way. Go.
So, that review I wholeheartedly disagree with. I read that review in its entirety. I hated every second of reading that review. And without having played the game, I thought it was unfair, especially compared to every other person's review. So I feel like it might have been for clicks, even though it was coming from one of the big sites in video games. I disagree. I'm glad they don't score it so their stupid opinion doesn't pop up on Metacritic, and that might have given it away. And but anyways, I disagree. It's one of those things. I do think this game's unreviewable. It's going to be a perfect 10 for me, and so it really shouldn't matter what anyone else says. But, it's hard not to get swept into the anger of, other people's terrible, stupid opinions about this game, because they're all dumb and stupid. I'm kidding. Not really, but kind of.
But we kind of just talked about with Star Wars how some fans get an idea in their head of what it should be and what everybody should think of it, and then when it's not that, they freak out. Do you see a little bit of that in your just immediate reactions? And what I mean is not that you're being irrational, but that you're such a huge fan of it and waited so long that. Do you think you're going to be able to look at this game objectively?
Hell no. Like I said, if I had to review this game, I couldn't be objective about it. And that's why it's, again, an impossible game to review. Because your super fans, the ones that know every in and out, know that, Sora is 16 years old because of a random interview. I got that from, thank you, Tim Rogers, doing background. He said 75% of that video he made, it was 16 minutes long, 16 to 18 minutes long. 75% of writing the speech for it was doing background research. That's how, the lore is a bit crazy. And the story can be convoluted at times, but that's part of its charm. But if you get someone who is like me and this game is like ingrained into you, right? That kind of sounds weird, but it's like it's hard to dissociate yourself from this game. Like I played this game when I was a little kid, 6th, 7th grade. I'm a huge Disney fan. I mean, I grew up in Southern California, so I grew up with Disneyland, 10 minutes away. My dad used to work there. So I had season passes for a while, and I'm just a big Disney fan. This game was like the dream, as it were. And it's hard. So there's no way I could be objective, but it also means that a lot of people that actually know like what Kingdom Hearts is, can't be objective. Not that they can't, but it's very hard for them to. Maybe they're more professional than I am when it comes to this, and kudos to them. Like I said, this is not, or like Tim Rogers said, this is not an easy game to review. Unreviewable is what he said, actually. And I think Kotaku gave him the review, so I'm excited to read it because Tim Rogers is a national treasure in the video game
Okay,
world.
so let me challenge you with this though, because I'm not a huge like fan like you are anyway. I'm interested about the game, but it's not. I wouldn't even say it's in the top 5 for me for 2019 that I'm looking forward to. But
Well, that's because you're wrong, but it's okay.
Okay.
Like all the reviewers, Tyler. Wrong.
Exactly.
But
Correct.
But what other game would people say, the story is just convoluted and doesn't make any sense at certain points, but that's part of its charm? Like, tell me any other game where that would be seen as, like, kind of a positive or part of its charm.
Shut up, Tyler. You know nothing. Metal Gear Solid. That story can be stupid in a lot of ways.
Okay,
and
but
Metal Gear
that's
Solid
another
5
situation,
10,
though,
so.
where the lead developer on those games has, like, a cult following. Kind of like Kingdom Hearts does. Right? So, I don't know where else, what other type of game you'd see, like, the story getting that type of criticism to it and have people say, well, that's just part of its charm, though,
Yeah, I think there's a little bias. Well, not a little. There's definitely some bias in there. But when you're really big fans of the series, it's like you can't really dwell on what people think about it. If you feel like it's been a 10 out of 10 experience, then it's been a 10 out of 10 experience. So, like, some people have not even played the other games and stuff like that, and they'll review it, but they'll review it based on, like, a total different basis that somebody else who's played the other games would review it. So, essentially, you just have to go play it yourself, and if you're a big fan of it, you're not going to get caught up in it anyways, and you don't care what anyone says, you're going to go play it.
Graham, stop being reasonable. That's ridiculous.
Well, that's the thing, and that's what I was going to say is, like, reviews of Kingdom Hearts 3, Steven, are not for you.
No, they're not.
They're not, because the
and
game
Tim
could
Rogers
get,
said that, too.
Yeah, the game could get 0.5 out of 10, and you would still buy, like, 13 different versions on the first day.
2, but okay.
Yeah.
Which is happening. I'm buying 2 versions of the game.
Okay.
One on PlayStation, one on Xbox.
Yes.
But, I mean, it's good to know that the game, like, is very playable, as it were, because, you're not going to give a game an 89 overall, like, average on Metacritic if it's not playable. And playable sounds terrible. I mean, it's objectively almost great, depending on...
89's a really good score.
Yeah, very good. But I know for me and my fellow Kingdom Hearts fans, the people that grew up with this, like, it's kind of ingrained in your life, as it were, or however you want to word it. This game will be, like, perfect to us. And so, again, kudos to the reviewers. I do this to play a part, as I think y'all are amazing. I think, like, I read the IGN's review. I thought it was very fair. I got all of it. I still don't really understand IGN's review scores. Like, they do the point, like, 7. That's what they get, 8.7. I don't know what's the difference between an 8.7 and 9. But
I think they have a pretty detailed, like, rubric sheet that they use, where it comes down to some math at the end, and just kind of scoring different components of the game and coming out with a full score.
And that's fair. Yeah. I mean, every review except the one, I really disagreed, because I read like 3 or 4 reviews and then I read that one. I disagreed. I mean, everyone's allowed their personal opinion. I just think, well, I don't want to go much more into it. I just disagree with it. Like, it's your opinion. You're fine. You're fine. You can have your opinion. I thought all the other reviews were very fair, though. And I'm just glad that it's good enough that that like, you know, the super fans are going to be super happy and will think it's a 10. The one thing that I do think is unfortunate is like people like me hype this game up so much, right? The Kingdom Hearts is kind of one of the most famous video games in history in a lot of ways. Maybe not the most. It's in a different league than like Mario or Zelda, or I'd say it's more famous than Zelda, but different league than like Mario.
Kingdom Hearts is more famous than Zelda. Is that what you just said?
Now Graham's gonna get fired up.
You're definitely wrong on that one, but that's okay.
I think it has more of a, like, I don't know how to word this. It's more intriguing than Zelda. You either know if you're going to like Zelda or you don't. But there's a lot of people that never played Kingdom Hearts before and are like, well, I like this game, you know? And I was kind of hoping for a little better scores. Like, if this game came out to 10s, like, a lot of people would be like, all right, we have to give this a go. And so that's the only thing that, like, kind of, you know, has me a little, like, unhappy. But seriously, go play Kingdom Hearts. It's now available on the Xbox for the first time ever. Like, one of the games in the series. I mean, it's not out right now, but it's about to be. So, you know, you can have the opportunity to play it if you're an Xbox owner. And you don't need to have played the other ones. It's kind of fun to go in and see how much you understand. And then you can go look up videos for the other ones, or, you know, buy yourself PS4 and play the games that way. I don't know what more to say. This game.
So, Steven, I feel like I have to mention something that some of our listeners are probably thinking or saying or yelling at the radio, you know, at the whatever they listen on right now.
The radio.
Yell at all you want.
We're on the radio.
But how, you know, and I get that you're coming from a fan and arguably, very arguably, a fanboy point of view here, but how can you say that you agree or disagree with any review when you haven't played the game at all yet? You know?
Well, because I read the other reviews, and there's things in there that I think were unfair, even if you haven't played the game.
Okay.
Things that I think can easily be, like, countered.
Okay.
You know, without having played the game, with just knowing the series as I do.
All right.
That type of stuff, not gameplay. Like, I wasn't arguing that the gameplay was, like...
Sure.
I wasn't like, no, that's wrong. I haven't played the game yet. Okay. But that's where I'm at.
All right. Well, let's move on from that. From a game Steven's really excited about to a game Graham is super fired up for. Graham,
yes.
You know, Christmas, either, you know, you got a late Christmas gift or a really early one this week, potentially. Best Buy might have confirmed that Death Stranding is coming out in 2019. They had pre-order cards that up in the corner, I think they said, like, coming 2019 on them. So, Graham, you've been the biggest advocate for this game.
As an advocate being tired of... Well, okay. If this game is coming out in 2019, which, spoiler, it's not, well, but maybe, but I very, 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 very much doubt it. Yes, I've been just talking about how I'm sick and tired of seeing these little teaser trailers that we have no idea, and then we'll see another one and we still have no idea, and I don't know if anybody has any idea, even Kojima. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just... But they're like, well, we're just going to show you more, and you're going to be even more confused, but no one knows when this is coming out. So, is this coming out in 2019? It's very, very unlikely. My guess is this is a placeholder.
But before we get to that...
Okay.
Graham, because we'll kind of make some predictions on whether or not that's actually going to happen. But at E3, we've seen, you know, through the last few years, we've seen some slices of Death Stranding and some gameplay, totaling probably about, 15 to 20 minutes of gameplay all in all?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a pretty good sample size.
Yes.
So what's Death Stranding about, Graham?
Babies, shadow creatures, being stealthy, being a UPS delivery guy. And
the answer is we have absolutely no idea, right?
Being Daryl from The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have no idea. We have no idea. None. We
Steve,
don't even know what type
any
of
idea
game
what this game's about?
Yeah, I know exactly what this game is about, and I can explain it because I've had years of practice explaining Kingdom Hearts plotline. No, it's about a baby in Daryl's belly, and he has to deliver a package, and it's Castaway. But
then there's like
rocks.
shadow guys hunting you.
Well, yeah, that's Castaway.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't know because you've ever seen it.
Yeah, true.
So you don't know if I'm lying right now or telling the truth.
True.
No, I have no idea what this game is. I'm kind of excited in the just wanting to know what it is more than wanting to play it.
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't think it comes out in 2019 though. I think this
let's go around the horn here. What percent chance do you think there is that this game comes out in 2019? Look, Graham, we'll start with you.
5.
Okay, Steven?
15.
I'm going to say 3. I think there's absolutely no way this is not a launch title for the PlayStation 5.
I do agree with that, sense. But you never know.
I mean, it's possible, but if this game was coming out this year, damn well PlayStation would be at E3.
Well, I was just going to say.
That's true, for sure.
So they showed this at E3 I don't know how many E3s now, but why wouldn't they show it at this one?
Yeah, actually,
honestly, all they'd have to do is just have Kojima come and sit on a chair while the demo plays behind him for like an hour.
Yep. Unless it's coming out before E3.
No,
maybe it's coming out next month.
So
it's
no,
coming
probably
out
not
February
happening.
25th or something when all those other games come out.
I mean, I guess it's cool, like people can get their hopes up and whatnot, but it's not going to happen. I'd be really shocked if it did.
Yes.
So, all right, a game that is coming out this year is Anthem. Just went gold this week. And the beta is this weekend. So you can get the beta. You can get the beta if you pre-order the game, or if you are part of EA Access on Xbox One, or Origin Access on PC. So how excited are you guys to actually play this? First of all, are you planning to play it this weekend? How excited are you to get your hands on it finally?
I didn't even know we could play it this weekend as EA Access people. I know you pre-ordered it, but I didn't know if you pre-ordered it in time to get beta access for this weekend. Yeah. But if I have access to it this weekend through EA Access, then I'll give it a go. I read some previews, and they said the movement is some of the most fun they've had. Like it's like you're playing as Iron Man. That was from PC Gamer. They said even if some of the other stuff didn't or kind of missed, but they said the traversal is super fun. So that kind of gets me excited. If you feel like you're Iron Man, that's pretty awesome. And not many games can do traversal so well as they said, or as it seems to show. So I'm excited. I'll probably give it a go when I'm trying to get all my schoolwork done this weekend, so I have the entirety of next week to play Kingdom Hearts 3. But
Steven's got a busy week.
But maybe I'll find some time to jump in the Anthem beta. Maybe.
Graham?
So
go ahead, Graham.
Yeah, sorry. I'm absolutely plan on playing this beta. I read the same review Steven read, or not review, but hands-on impressions, and it looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. And because this is BioWare and this is the A team, so they're like it's gonna be nothing like Andromeda. So I'm definitely excited for that. But no matter what I read and what I've heard, it's not going to do justice until I play it and experience for myself. And I'm really hoping that I don't feel like, oh, this is just like Destiny 2, even though people are saying Destiny 2 is a great game and all that stuff, and it's not the worst thing to be compared to. But I just don't want it to be compared to Destiny 2. But I just want to try it out and see what it's about, and just see what the traversal is all about. Mm-hmm. And I want to be Iron Man. What are you saying, Tyler?
Yeah, I definitely want to try it. And as I get ready to move, I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff done before the weekend, so I have some time to sit down and play it, if just for a couple hours. But I definitely am looking forward to getting my hands on it to see. I mean, we've seen so much about this game, and every time we see more and hear more, it just kind of looks better and better. And I'm trying to keep my hype level maintained, just so I'm not disappointed, because I do think there's a chance this game could underwhelm, but the more we see about it, the better I feel. But I'm absolutely excited to get my hands on it this weekend. So, all right. That, guys, is going to wrap up news for us. Let's go ahead and head into releases for the week. We'll start, as always, with Xbox.
Now in
We get
store.
Genesis Alpha 1 on the 29th, Bombfest on the 31st, and Animal Super Squad, biggest release of next week, on the 1st of February. Games with Gold, Celeste, you can still get it through the 31st. WRC 6 through the 15th of February, and through backwards compatibility, Far Cry 2 through the 31st of January. Steven, what about PlayStation?
Well, there's only one game that matters, but you can get Kingdom Hearts 3 on the 29th. Obviously, the most important thing. You can also get the all-in-one package, Kingdom Hearts all-in-one package, also on the 29th. That includes everything from the series, like the 1.5, 2.5, and 2.8, and Kingdom Hearts 3. So if you don't own any of them and you have PlayStation, you get it there. And you can also get Kingdom Hearts 3 for the first time, or a Kingdom Hearts game for the first time ever on the Xbox, as I alluded to earlier, and on the Xbox coming down 29th. And finally, on the 31st, you can get Necrosphere Deluxe. For PS Plus games, you can get Steep and Portal Knights. You have like 2 more weeks to download those super good titles. Graham, what about Nintendo?
Yes, for Nintendo releases, we have Sphinx and the Cursed Mummy coming out on the 29th. Then on the 31st, you get Stray Cat Doors. And then on February the 1st, yes, into February already, you can get Song of Memories. And that is it.
All right, let's go into questions. And Steven, what do we have?
All right, well, our first question is a voice question from Shadow. Shadow X, so let's give it a listen right now.
Hey guys, Shadow X here. We've had a lot of conversation about the Star Wars debacle, and one of the questions I want to ask is, what is your opinion on Disney and Lucasfilm or LucasArts making the decision to do an open license for Star Wars content and Star Wars games, allowing third-party developers to essentially bid on Star Wars games to Disney and them approving the overall? I wonder if this creates a competition, so to speak, to really encourage third-party developers to develop a game, and also allow developers who would not normally be considered for such a game to develop a Star Wars game, maybe a small 2 to 4 hour game versus a 60 to 100-hour game, allowing Star Wars content to be created and distributed for all types of gamers. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, so I love the idea of having a open license for Star Wars where, developers can bid on it, because it makes it so that if the company wants to do a Star Wars game, they can buy the rights to do a game, and but I just Tyler, I think we were talking off air, and we said that, or you said that you think the reason Disney sold to EA in the first place was to avoid having to micromanage. And so I do agree with you, but I wish they would a little bit, because I think we could see some very successful Star Wars games if it was given the ability to be open for anyone. So what do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I'm with you 100%. And first of all, thanks for sending the question. And, again, we're talking about the possibility of kind of open bidding, so any developer can make a Star Wars game. They just have to present the idea to Disney and get it signed off on. Disney closed LucasArts for a reason, and it's because they didn't want to be necessarily in the video game business. They don't really understand it that well. They don't want to get involved in it, so they sold the license off for a 10-year deal to EA so they wouldn't have to. And I think they had to get involved more than they already wanted to with the whole debacle around Battlefront 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see them wanting to really go back to having to manage it that much and be that involved. I think they prefer to just sell off a license for a certain period of time and say, that's it. Now we don't have to worry about it, and we're still going to make some money off of it. So, Graham, anything on that?
Well, one thing is I'm sure they're regretting giving them a 10-year contract. They're like, wow, that was a bad idea. So, yeah, I guess they put too much faith in them, and it's kind of got stale, and they was sticking to the same formula. So it would have been nice to see other companies like get a chance to explore and have like access to that universe and then come up with their own great stories. So yeah, like I think if these other companies get on board, hopefully in the future when this license is expired, they'll like leave it open and people can get it, and like even like Obsidian or somebody like that make one would be great. So yeah, that would be awesome, and hopefully we get to see something like that.
Yeah, so one thing before we move on, I alluded to it earlier when we were talking about BioWare. Like, if it ever did become open, like, what is the chances that BioWare would be allowed to make a game? Like, would EA allow BioWare to do that? I'm thinking no.
No, I don't think so.
Which sucks, because, I mean, then again, like, well, never mind.
I think they got them tied up with Anthem for the foreseeable future. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully BioWare can find a way out of that then, but who knows? All right. Next question from Brian Richland asks, is there any chance I'm going to enjoy / understand Kingdom Hearts 3 not having played anything prior to this?
Well, that's for you, so take it away.
Take it away, Steven.
Yes, absolutely. You'll be able to enjoy it. You'll understand most of it. A lot of it's pretty, like, obvious. It's not super, like, the convolution comes from the amount of characters there are. There's a lot of, like, bad guys and a lot of, like, future, like, time travel and other stuff. And some of the old stories, like, are a bit... There's a little bit of convolution, but it's all the nuance that's convoluted. It's not the overarching story. You'll be able to get the main gist of it, and you'll definitely enjoy it. If you like Disney, like worlds, and you want to get a chance to explore some of them, and you like the action RPG games, think like God of War, but way less violent, because, you know, this is a game with Disney characters in it. And if you want a game where Donald has the chance to heal you but never does, you absolutely will have the chance there. You will enjoy playing Kingdom Hearts 3. I do recommend giving it a go. If you don't want to spend $60, it's understandable, but if the price ever drops down to, like, you know, 30 or whatever your price range is, or you're just bored, like, I'd give it a shot if you can. Like, I think people can get into this game, and it's a pretty easy game to get your family involved with. Like if you have kids, I mean, it's not super depressing. It's not that dark. I mean, it can be, but it's not like bloody and gory and stuff like that. I mean, there's Disney stuff involved. So I think, you know, if you're trying to play with your kids or whatever, it's a good game. And I think you would be able to enjoy it. And then, so yeah, I mean, I guess you guys can't answer that question. So
no, I have nothing to add.
No.
All right. Hopefully
play it.
I say this correctly. P. Nikes, 944. I purposely mispronounced your name just so I wouldn't mess it up. But how excited are you guys about Kingdom Hearts 3 after this 13-year wait? Well, it was a little less than 13.
I'm ecstatic.
Like,
absolutely
serious.
ecstatic.
Yeah, can't wait.
Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm just... I could wait like 20 more years. Not super pumped. No, I'm like through the moon, you know, for this, and I'm so happy this is coming.
I'm happy for you, Steve.
I'm happy for you too, Steven. I am.
I believe you too, but
like, no, I'm serious. Like, it's actually cool to see.
You at least believe me.
People that are huge fans get a chance to play the game they've been waiting so long to get their hands on.
Oh, exactly, for sure. Yeah. Like, I would like to see BioShock commit for Tyler, because I know he's a big fan of that franchise.
Yep. That and, like, the next Halo game would do it for me. So, yeah.
Well, you know that's coming, though.
And I hope we get another raid game for Graham. Or, no, Killing Floor 3. Sorry. Killing Floor 3.
Yes.
You're so kind.
No, a new Legend of Zelda game, like, soon. Would be good. Anyways, so let's see. Do we have any more Kingdom Hearts related questions?
No, I think that's it, Steven.
No. So going from a subject that a lot of you might not enjoy to a subject another lot of you might not enjoy, Nuka asked, who's winning the Super Bowl?
A football team.
Yeah.
The team with the most points, as my dad would say. The Patriots are winning. I hope the Rams do, but come on, it's Brady. You can't really bet against Brady.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for me to go against the Patriots here. Like they just win in these types of games.
Well, I'm going to go against the Patriots because I'm going to have positive thinking towards the team I want to win. and that's not the Patriots. I mean, the Rams. Let's go Rams.
We'll see if we're right in a week and a half.
Yeah.
Here. Let's hope we are. Go Rams, but yeah, Patriots taking it. Another football question from KC. Who's the best quarterback ever? He says the answer is not Brady. Well, hate to break it to you, Casey. The answer is Brady. He is the best quarterback. At least he's the most clutch quarterback ever. And when it comes to rings, I mean, the proof's in the pudding, as they say.
You know how you know he's the best? Because nobody wants him to win anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Like, he's been in the Super Bowl more than half the time he's been in the league. Come on, like, the dude's just, he's a winner.
There are multiple combinations of teams that have not been in the Super Bowl as many times as he has won.
Yeah.
So, that's saying something.
And how many times has he won?
5.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yep.
I just don't want him to win until the last year that he's in the league, and then he can win one and retire like Peyton Manning, and that's the dream.
Well, there's rumors, Steven, that Gronk might be retiring after the Super Bowl. So don't you want to see him going on top?
No. Nope.
All right.
Nope. All right. This is I think Tyler will have the most. I don't know how to put it, but he'll have the best answer. But from Piracy, he said, "How did you guys know it was time to come back from the hiatus?"
Okay, so and I reached out to Piracy to kind of clarify this question. So back in 2017,
So long ago.
It was so long ago. Feels like forever ago. But we ended up taking 9 weeks off from doing the show. And then we came back with episode 70 in late November of 2017. And we've only missed 1 week since over the holidays here recently. But I think, I thought about how to, answer this because there were a few different things at play. So I think the best way I can do it is just, in my professional career, I have a decent amount of management experience, so I'll just word it that way, I guess. So basically, and Graham, I think you can agree with me on this, like, we were all having a lot of fun doing the show. And we enjoyed, you and I, doing it every week. I think we can speak for ourselves and say that.
Oh, yeah,
right?
For sure. Definitely.
But I think at the same time, there's this feeling that we didn't have a really clear direction behind it. Like a lot of times, and just to be completely blunt, we'd come in and be not fully prepared across the board. And that would reflect. And Stephen, you were a listener at the time.
I was.
Would you agree with that?
I would, yes, agree with that.
Okay. So we went through like E3 2017 was pretty good. We did some things really well. And then it started to, tail off from there. And we just kind of needed to, I think, talk internally about what the best direction for the show was going forward. And more importantly, like, what type of commitment level do we need from everybody that's involved in order to make this what we want it to be. So we don't necessarily have dreams of overtaking, like, Podcast Beyond or the Giant Bombcast in terms of, like, listeners every week. That'd be great, but that's not really where we're going. Or that's not our stated goal. We're not measuring success or failure based on that. But we need it to be something that, when you put the time in and you put the effort in, you got to feel fulfilled and rewarded from doing it, at the end of the day. And I think, Graham, we can agree that that feeling wasn't always there.
That is a fair assumption.
Yeah, so we had to be clear, like, just as a team about what type of commitment level is going to be necessary in order for us to get from where we were to where we wanted to be. Just in terms of putting out a good show every week, not in terms of numbers or anything like that. And, I'll be quite frank, this is the manager in me. Some people were all for that, some were not. So we made some decisions and changes that needed to be made. And, the reboot also was around a time where I moved across like 5 or 6 states. And that was a big thing, and it was a big career thing for me too. So, like, some time off wasn't the worst thing in the world there. But once I got in and got settled and everything, we really kind of had one more, like, serious discussion about it and said, all right, let's do this, let's go, because we all are invested in it. Like, Graham, we make fun of Graham with Purple Rainbow Unicorn. I can say...
They do.
Yeah, but I can say Graham is super invested in this. He cares about it. He loves doing it, all that stuff. I'm the same way. And at that time, we kind of approached Steven because, he was a listener. We started playing a lot of, like, NHL together, actually. So it was a situation where we were talking in party chat almost every day because at that time, we were playing NHL almost every day. And we felt it would be a good time to bring him in. So, Steven, you joined at that point. And then over the course of coming back for, from that point through another, like, maybe 6 weeks, we had a few more changes and tweaks that kind of got us in a really good direction going forward. And as much as I hate having to say, like, hey, we were gone for 9 weeks, it was the best thing that ever happened to us because it reset expectations for ourselves and the type of product we want to deliver for you. So, I don't know if you guys want to add anything on that, but
I think we came back better and stronger, and definitely look forward to continuing this with you guys and take our community along with us. And thank you, community, and thank you for the question. It's always good to get a little personal and get to know each other a bit more.
That first month like that I joined you guys, it was interesting. It was good learning the ropes. It wasn't like any of our since I've been on, it was definitely our weakest stuff. But after, the turn of the year into 2018, like, I thought we kind of hit our stride and really started taking off, especially towards E3 and through E3. And so I'm happy to be here. And yeah, I thought we had some amazing content.
So, Steven, question for you real quick.
Sure.
So, I could maybe answer this too. I think it's a little unique for you, though, where you kind of joined in with, like, me and Graham. Eugene was still on it at the time. But with people who've been doing this for a little while, right? Yeah. So we kind of learned some things and whatnot. So a lot of people out there that listen to different podcasts and whatnot are like, oh, that's easy, I can do that, right?
Yeah.
And that's why you see, like, 500,000 new podcasts hit iTunes every single month, and then the, like, super vast majority of them never make it to episode 15. What kind of hit you, like, that was not what you thought it would be coming in and doing it?
Well, prep work definitely, cause like we party up almost every day. And then we end up talking about the show 95% of the time when we're not messing with each other. And we prep for the show, and even when we're not, like, doing the prep work for the show, we're prepping for the show. And it didn't necessarily happen when I was playing with you guys. I think you guys did a lot of it through group chat, but, like, we started doing more voice stuff. But yeah, it's just a lot of, like, prep work and a lot of, like, you get on, you do it, and there's, 2-3 hours you're prepping before the show, and then we kind of talk about the show after, and then, we start prepping for the next week, and then, not really, God forbid, because it's awesome when it happens, but, if we have more than one or two episodes in a week, it can be tiring. Like, E3 was the big one. Like, it seems like it's, because you talk so much, right, throughout the day. Yeah. At least I
tried to warn you too.
You do.
Surprising. Surprise. I tend to say some words throughout the day, especially when I'm around my friends. I'm actually kind of quiet at work sometimes, or I can be. And at school, I rarely talk, in class, because I'm paying attention, being a good student. But anyways, like, you think you can do it, and all of a sudden you do 6-7 shows in 4 days, and then you go back to work and you're just, like, mad at the world. You're just tired, and it's hard. So yeah, I definitely didn't expect that, but I feel like I've gotten so much better. Like, you want to hear me be really uncomfortable, go listen to the intros of the very first episode I was on, episode 70, and I am stiff as a board. And now, now you can't get me to shut up sometimes. So,
I think
you brought this on yourselves.
I think too, looking over the course of 144 episodes now, the one thing I can say for, why we've done a lot of our best stuff in the last 12 months is that the three of us are genuinely good friends. And we get along well, and we, there's a lot of things that come with that. So one of those is we can call each other out on stuff when, if I say something stupid on an episode, I'm going to hear about it. Like the moment we're done recording, I'm going to hear it. And that's okay. And it's true for all three of us, and we can do that without any sort of, drama involved. And that has helped us quite a bit because we all know we're coming from a place that we just want the show to be better. So
I don't know about you. I take every criticism of me absolutely personally.
Good.
Yeah, I agree. And
Graham, anything to add?
No, it's just been great. Let's keep it going.
All right.
Yes.
What else? We got time for probably a couple more.
Okay. Let's see. Key Allen asks, what is your favorite collector's edition for a game, and why do you like it?
I'll go first real quick. I'm going to say the... and to be honest, I never got it, because at the time, I just wasn't in a position where I could buy, the super edition of stuff. But the Gears of War 3, Epic Edition, I think it was called. It had an awesome statue of Marcus Phoenix and had some really cool other stuff in there. That was one that, looking back, if I could get my hands on it, I absolutely would.
Yeah, I have the Persona 5 collector's edition that came with the art book, the CD, a little plush toy thing of Morgana and some other stuff, and then the case is a steelbook that I really like. I did buy the middle version of Kingdom Hearts 3, but I'd be lying if I said I wish I didn't drop the money for the super special edition of Kingdom Hearts 3. So that's my one regret. I should have done it. I'm killing myself for it, kicking myself for not doing it. But the Persona 5 one was definitely my favorite out of all the ones I've owned, which hasn't been many. But Graham, do you have any?
Yes, mine would be the Pip-Boy edition for Fallout 3. It was pretty sweet having a Pip-Boy on my wrist. My smartphone would go in it, and then I would use the companion app. And basically, you would use that to change your guns or to eat food, so you didn't have to bring up your Pip-Boy in game. You just tap it on your wrist. So I really like that. And another one would be the Breath of the Wild. It came with a case for my Nintendo Switch, and I use it all the time when I carry my Nintendo Switch everywhere.
So real quick, I just want to throw in one other one that I actually did buy for Call of Duty Black Ops. The original had the RC car.
Oh, yeah.
And I loved it because my dog, who's now, he's older, and he doesn't move around so well anymore. But back then, he was a spry, not totally young pup. And the car, I drive it around, and when it was driving away from him, he'd chase it and bark at it and have a grand old time. And then as soon as I turn around and bring it back at him, he's running away, crying, trying to get away. So that was always fun. It was entertainment forever. All right. One more.
All right. All right. Last one from Riley Clark. I guess it would have made more sense to do this one before, but what inspired you all to start podcasting?
Okay. Graham, you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Yeah, well, you might as well because you asked me.
Well, I'll go first real quick.
Okay.
Right.
Being asked.
Yeah.
Asked, I was like, sure, I think I could be okay at this, and I didn't start out okay, and I think I'm pretty decent now. So yeah.
Yeah. So I've always had a passion for gaming, and I think, excuse me, gaming does a lot to bring people together when we live in a world where there's so many things that are meant to divide us and do divide us. And I think that gaming at its best does the opposite of that. And being able to kind of present that message or celebrate that every single week is something that was really appealing to me. That said, it's easier said than done getting a podcast off the ground and getting started and whatnot. So I listened. I had a lot of shows that I listened to that were built around video games at the time, and I'd be remiss if I didn't call out some of the people that kind of inspired me and kind of gave me ideas of like, hey, what's a good way to do this? So, Podcast Unlocked, specifically Ryan McCaffrey, Gamertag Radio, X1 Bros, shows like that. I always really enjoyed those, and those shows kind of inspired me to, really invest in doing this, and with the time necessary and honestly the money necessary to do it. So that's what kind of got me going. And then, looking at putting together a team to start with, and that resulted in One Night Graham. There may have been some beverages involved over chat, but we talked about having you be a part of it, and you were like all for it.
So you had to have some drinks in you. Well, thank God for drinks.
Yeah, how many of our good ideas, or good ideas in our minds, have come out of, a night of a couple beverages?
I can say our holiday giveaway did.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but...
There's probably some more in there, but...
So, Graham, beyond me just asking you, like, what made you say, like, hey, this sounds fun?
So basically, we played NHL, me, you, and someone else. We played repeatedly, and I guess you guys talked about it before, and you guys, like, we're thinking about doing this, and to be honest, at the time, I really didn't even know what a podcast was. Like, I could figure it out, or, like, Google it, whatever, like, but you're like, yeah, basically, you just get on, and you talk about, like, games, because we were talking about games, and you guys could tell that I enjoyed playing games, not just NHL. So I guess you were looking for somebody for a while that would start this with, and you offered to me, and I'm like, sure, like, I've got nothing to lose. And I knew the potential of, like, stuff with, like, YouTube and, like, social media, how, like, it can quickly turn into something really big. And it's not that I wanted to quit my job, although it wouldn't be the end of the world if I stayed home and I became like a full-time gamer and actually could make an income. But that wasn't my goal right from the beginning. It's like, yeah, that's something to do, and it's something that I'm passionate towards. So when you're passionate towards something, like, even with music, like, I could talk about it like forever, and like, I know the history of it, and I grew up with it. So to me, it sounded like something fun to do. And as I've done it, like, I learned how popular it is, and you introduced me to other podcasts when you mentioned earlier.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah. And then when we read like comments that people send in, it's like, I guess we must be doing something right, because some people took the time to let us know that they like what we're doing and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much my inspiration and what keeps me motivated and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Anything else to add, Steven?
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of answer that question as well. I did say that you just asked, and I did it, but I never really like put myself out there for the world, as it were. I always kind of like being behind the scenes, in some ways, and doing stuff from the background. But I don't know. You guys asked, and I thought, like, I love video games. I love talking about video games, so I was like, all right, I'll give it a go and see where it leads. And it's definitely helped me, like, I think, be more comfortable talking to just random people. And I have to make a presentation in one of my classes due at the end of the year, and like most of the time I'd be like nervous, or before, but now I'm actually kind of excited. I want to see, like, I can use this as a gauge to test where I'm at for, like, public speaking from people my own age. I'm really good at doing it in front of, like, kids, even if kids can be way harsher critics and more judgmental than any adults. But
well, I don't know about that.
Well,
some of our emails are pretty, but
yeah, I don't know. I know
what you mean.
Yeah, so it's nice being out and kind of, I get to have my voice reach a couple thousand people.
More than that, but
more than that. So that's awesome, and so I appreciate you guys giving us the opportunity to listen, or appreciate you guys giving me the or listening to me. Whatever. You know what I mean? Okay, the wording was terrible. I appreciate you guys listening.
He got the words in there. It's just you gotta
In the
gotta
wrong
decipher
order,
the
and you know they were. Believe it or not, there's no beverages involved for Steven tonight. So, yeah. All right. So that'll do it for questions. Thanks everybody who sent them in, and anybody who sends in a question, whether it's read or not on the show, you're entered to win in our giveaway the last episode of every single month, which will be next week on 145. So make sure to send in questions to be entered to win. But Steve, we do have a giveaway to do this week before we get out of here.
We do. So that's
Better
our
do
patron giveaway. If you're a patron at the $5 and up level, you are entered in to win a $60 game or gift card every single month. So the winner, congratulations, Bradley Cole. And with our patron giveaways, we reach out to you. You don't have to listen for your name to see if you won, because we'll send you a message and ask you what console you wanted on.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so congratulations to you. Thank you so much for helping support us, and thank you to everybody who supports us on Patreon. And if you didn't win this month, we'll be doing another one next month. So again, we had some people mention, hey, we want you guys to do video. So, if you haven't signed up for Patreon yet, do that. That's one way to help support the show, patreon.com/gaminghub. Once we hit 50 patrons, we will do video of every single episode on Twitch, and that'll go on YouTube as well. And the other way is through Twitch, TXH Gaming Hub on Twitch. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you get a free Twitch Prime somebody use every single month, and if you choose to spend that on us, we'd really appreciate it. If not, spend it on somebody, help them achieve their goals, and etc. All right, you can join the community by going to Facebook, the Gaming Hub forums, going on over to Twitch, again, TXH Gaming Hub there. Either of those places, you can get a link to our Discord, where we have a lot of good conversation going on all the time on everything ranging from video games to food to TV shows, etc., and it's usually a pretty good time there. So please join that if you'd like to. And we also have Twitter at TXH Gaming Hub there, and YouTube, the Gaming Hub podcast, where you can watch Steven torture himself with super hot, spicy beef jerky.
And there'll be more.
And there will be more. All right. That's going to do it, everybody, for episode 144 of the Gaming Hub podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. For Graham and Steven, I'm Tyler saying thank you again. We'll be back next week with 145. Until then, have a great week, everybody. Stay safe, play some great games, and we will talk to you soon.
Yeah,
Take care, everyone.